A very, very warm good evening. This is Ranav Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is August the 21st, 2025. It's a Thursday. And tomorrow could be an interesting day in regard to the future of Indian football, as the case of the All India Football Federation's new constitution will once more be heard in the Supreme Court. Will it be the end of the discussions? Will it be the day that things are decided, or will this drag on? Different people have different approaches, and we will speak about those today, and surely generally also what's all happening in Indian football. Some bizarre, again, I've given up of speaking on logic on Indian football, but there are a lot of things happening at the moment, and yeah, let's hope things move into the right direction. Sorry, also a few minutes late, 5 minutes, was on a call, and therefore let's see what happens tomorrow. Reynolds says, hypothetically speaking, what should you advise to a talent who was deemed as the next big thing, but sadly due to life and injuries he didn't reach where he could? Should he keep working or quit? Reynolds, case-to-case basis. These generalizations, I know a lot of you like these generalizations. What would you do? You have to look at it on a case-to-case basis. What is the background of the kid? What is the injury? What was the kind of their talent? What was the levels? Therefore, we would have to then, you can't have a general plan for everybody and then say, you should do this or you should do that, stop playing football, focus on else. Let's wait and see what happens. Sorry, Blue. Hi. Hola, Goku. We need more people like Ravi in the system. He seems like a hard-working chap. Good to see Ravi finally coming out of the whole situation. It's just sad. Yeah, I mean, if you see what's happening at the moment, if you see what is happening or not happening at the moment, I feel it's a very, very difficult situation. I think, if you are, I don't want to change with any one of the guys who are CEOs or managing directors of the ISL teams. Let's be honest about it. It's a very, very, what do you tell your owners? What do you tell your staff, your players? Where do you stand? And that's something. And Ravi came out with a statement which I find very honest. And let me read it out to you guys, because I think it sums up someone in his position. And I quote a tweet of a longer text from Ravi Pushkar. Before anyone says I have an agenda, let me admit it myself. I do. My agenda is simply that football in India and the thousands of people who rely on it for their livelihoods are not left stranded. For the past 10 years, I lived in this ecosystem. I've seen fans pour their hearts into this game, young talents grow into professionals and staff members. I'm one of them, build their livelihoods. I'm scared of this impasse. Am I scared of this impasse? Yes, I am. Because these are not just numbers on a balance sheet, they are lives, dreams, and communities built around football. And yet, at this very moment, all of that hangs in the balance. Football in India may not vanish, but without clarity, it will shrink. And the progress we have fought so hard for will be undone. This is the real cost of delay. There are many who claim to act in the name of Indian football, but whose actions too often serve their own agendas. If anyone truly wants to put the game first and has the power to do so tomorrow in court, and then their single-minded focus must be this, that the Honorable Supreme Court delivers finality to the case so that football can move forward. So my humble request to the Indian football community is this. For the next 24 hours, let us put aside transfers and rivalries. The time for that will come. For now, let us show that Indian football can unite when it matters most, to protect the people, the livelihoods, and the dreams the sport has built. Yeah, it is. it is exactly, what I was said. It is a situation which is, I think a lot of people are realizing, so let's see. I hope that things change in the right direction. Hi, Showcast. Kafa's coming up, specializing and winning one match in the Showcast. I think, honestly, anyone who today can think about a game in 8 days and what Indian football can and will do doesn't realize what is happening at the moment in the background, right? We're not in the field. We are not on the field, and to me, that is, yeah, honestly, that's what I said. For example, Durand Cup, I've recognized some results, I realized some results, but do I really care of what's happening on the field? No. Because off the field, this is about survival of Indian football, and everybody of you, of us, of me, of us, we need to fight for that. People like Ravi are trying their bit. Others are trying their bit as well. And we need to support it. Hey, Rudra, thoughts on Karnabas's FC inviting Bajaj for podcast? Whoever's idea it was, either resign or the owners should sack those people. It is a level of stupidity. Sorry to say this so clearly. It is a level of stupidity which is just unthinkable. For a few clicks on social media, for an interview, you are selling out the club, which, in my opinion, has done a lot of things right over the years. So therefore, for me, it is. I don't even know how can you come to that conclusion that such an interview makes sense. How can you? I mean, seriously. But this is the level of people we are dealing with these days. Sorry. I mean, again, and it just, someone needs to, stand up and say, listen, you know what, we did something wrong and they're sorry. Or, I don't know. I've given up. Hey, Roshan, saw your video about stakeholders speaking up. Yeah, please do. I've tagged the video here on top that, wake up and act for football's future. I go in somewhat in the same direction as Ravi does in that way, because I think that's very, very important that we recognize and realize that is something, that we need to realize where we're going or not. But the problem here is, many are silent because there are some who think they don't have a say, in what is happening. And others, India connected to a party, could be a problem. Others don't bother. There are groups who don't bother. Some, I know entities who would be happy if the whole thing collapses and they can get out of it. There are multiple entities who are now involved in football. That's it. So how is Diamond Harbour performing so well in Durand Cup? I am surprised that they beat big teams. Showcast. Durand Cup is, nice. I mean, how they're beating it, because look at their team. And look at Kivu Vicuña. Diamond Harbour FC is for me a good example, a very, very good example, yes, they have political backing. But for example, this is a good example of a club, yes, having political backing, having the money, but doing the right things. Diamond Harbour FC have done a lot of things right that other entities, other clubs have not been able to do. And that, I think, is the biggest positive, I think, in everything. So can they beat? Yeah, of course they can beat the others. Any thoughts on the decrease in budget in football and other sports and increase it on yoga? Are the wrong priorities of the government? Simple. If yoga is your priority, good night. On a serious note, and we face this in Germany, right? They've been telling, Indian social clubs, puja organizations to do yoga, and it's like, it's not a thing amongst us. It's no, sorry. I mean, you could say it's for the white blonde women rather in the yoga pants who do it, right? So yoga, sorry. And this shows you that this government on regard to sports is, or even forget this government, the governments in India don't understand sports. Football needed to be your biggest priority because it is the only global sport. Every bloody politician in India needs to be told, listen, your priority in sports needs to be football, nothing else. You're not going to be able to do anything with cricket. Who cares about cricket? Who cares about hockey? Who cares about all the other sports? Focus on football, right? You're not doing it. Like what I've seen, I saw a lot of good working chaps. There's a lot of them in the system. We need to push them into top tier. Yeah, Ranil, there are people, and let's see where it goes. But we're facing a very big lack of funds. No, we're not, Adi. The government is not pumping in money, but theoretically there is enough money in the system if you spend it right. That is the problem. So if ISL and I-League doesn't start, do you think our players need to find teams in other nations like Thailand, state leagues, Nepal, or even Bangladesh and go to 50th tier in Europe, Asia? No one will take them in 5th, 6th tiers in Europe because you have to be a professional. So, and I don't see our players going to Southeast Asia at the moment. Bangladesh, yeah. And even Nepal could be a possibility. And state league, some of them will play, but, let's see. I will never understand why ISL clubs are trying to put their words through Amicus Grip, but not FSTL. Blue, because the Amicus is the biggest influence on things. The Amicus spoke on the weekend on Sunday with Mr. Bajaj, spoke with Sunil, and now they're trying to get their points across. I think it's a very, very important point that they put across, that they try to put across, their point across, because listen, they are spending the money. They have employed the people, right? So I think that the ISL teams did it, and it's not via FSTL because Reliance, its position is very, very tricky because theoretically the MRA is stalled for now. Not theoretically, it is stalled for now, right? And the question now is, how do you sort those things out in a way that you can keep going or not? I think that's the big question at this moment in time, right? So for me, the challenge here I perceive to be that how do you challenge it? And the point here is that they're not party to the case, so they don't have access to being given the opportunity to speak. I think that's the challenge. Reality is, even if ISL survives, these clubs here will again spend heavy on first teams and not build facilities and all. Khalid, we don't know. Rudra, if we want to talk about that, we don't know, because post this, I think there will be some sort of course correction in regard to the salaries, and let's see. My question to you would be, in the situation we are in, right? As sad as it might sound, or as bad as it might sound, most probably Mr. Goenka is right. If the ISL ends today, then you'll say, listen, you've been spending on the first team, you've not been spending on infrastructure, on your development. For what should I have spent it for? So if you look at it from that side, at the moment, if the league does not happen, and the likelihood of the ISL happening is down to this weight, that's the reality, then that was the right decision. So Marcus posted about clubs writing to the Amicus. Yes, even I did something, gotten the club's letter. So the letter, 5-pager from the clubs, in the matter of the AIFF, speaks about the 11 entities who've signed the letter. Again, except East Bengal Mohun Bagan. They explain the ISL calendar and structure. what is the deadlock in regard to the MRA, and what are the consequences of this impasse, right? And impact on the clubs, the livelihoods, on the club's revenues, national team preparations, the regulatory risk, collapse of confidence, and also scale of past investments, need for urgency. So this is something that needs to be looked at. In CAFA. Not sure. We've got the moment to make it happen. Let's see on. Sorry about that, sir. There's just so many negative things going on in Indian football that I was trying to find one good hope in there, but yeah, there are far bigger problems to focus on. Showcast, not a problem, nothing against you, but my problem is, you know, it is again, if you're hoping something positive from CAFA, again, it's nice that we're playing, but if once we're going to get whacked, which is more likely than not, I don't know how positively we'll be speaking about it. The hype around this Durand Cup feels like Emperor Nero playing the mythical violin while Rome burns. Yeah, which is very, very right. Yeah. And this is, I find this disturbing to say the least, that if you look at how things have been going, what's been happening, that we've not gone the right path, right? That people are not realizing, that on a day like this, Indian football needs to stand together, right? The Indian football needs to stand together. We all need to look and realize if we don't do this together, there's no future. And that so I don't know. I honestly don't know where we're heading. The players often prioritize club over nation. Yeah, but Adi, what's the problem? That's the reality around the world. If Ronaldo can play in Hong Kong, he might play in India if Goa government convince him. Rudro, he's playing in Hong Kong because it's the Saudi Super Cup. The Saudi Super Cup, and he is the brand ambassador of Saudi Arabia in sense of their football. So he has to play there. It's not, sorry, with all respect to Goa government, to FC Goa, to Indian football, to AIFF, Ronaldo gives a damn who's going to approach him. Do you think that the climate will be challenging for the team? To adopt whether it will seriously affect our performance? Yeah, it's going to be a little fresher than here, right? So, yeah, surely. You're going out of the monsoon scenario. Carabas has made the video private after backlash from fans, and many guys started speculating they're the one aligning with Bajaj and says absolute disaster. Blue, terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible. And yeah, what to say? So many East Bengal supporters more concerned about the team's performance in future. Are we aware that this might not be any future this season? Or should? I think I saw some of the Sorry, guys. Had to do something for my parents. Therefore, I had to quickly jump out of this conversation. Sorry. Yeah, wait. Sorry, I lost some of you. Hopefully, the others will come back to the conversation. We're talking about these Bengal fans. To me, the big problem with these Bengal fans is that what I've said multiple times over the last few years, that there is a level of desperation of being successful. And yes, if you look at the team at this stage of the season, East Bengal is one of the strongest teams because most of the other teams don't have teams. And if you beat Mohun Bagan, then you think it's sorted, right? There is no one who's going to stop you. And that is, I think, one of the problems and the feelings that they've had. And it has not helped them, right? And welcome to football, right? If the players and Khalid, sir, are really working hard, then we might have a chance to score in CAFA Nations Cup. Are they working hard or not? I think is not the criteria. It's just a lack of quality and the lack of game time also that our players just simply have compared to the others, right? That's a big problem. Do you think chess is overrated? Yes, Daniel. I've said that multiple times. Yeah. But I just can't trust the Amicus. He made some points like ever stalled the league, so they should be out of MRA and AIFF should be allowed to find a new partner, etc. Report. Yeah, Blue, because again, as I said, he had a conversation with Mr. Bajaj on Sunday, right? Those are the talking points which you've seen in court, right? So that's the problem. Carol Blasters inviting Bajaj and portraying him like Superman needs to stop. He's the biggest fraud with random tournaments and hyping it like under 17 World Cup. Yeah. I think they don't understand FSL can't run a half league till December, which is till when is what we're handling. Low IQ judges, I guess. Bro, I think generally, I mean, this has also been said by other people that that we are in a situation. Why didn't they start? And then something should have been worked out by then. You can't do that, right? And therefore, for me, a lot of people. My problem at the moment is a lot of people have a lot of opinions, which you can have, as I say, anyone and everyone can have your opinions, but is it, and social media amplifies that, right? So therefore everybody can have their opinions and that doesn't help. Chronology, Supreme Court verdict, AIFF elections, MRA negotiations, and then ISL I-League. Biggest challenge, in my opinion, is the MRA. Will the clubs shoulder 60% responsibility? Will the AIFF settle for just 40%? Or should the AIFF will most probably settle for zero if they get the money? To tell you that at the moment, right? You're very right. Anything, to me, before 15th of Jan, unrealistic. But then the Supreme Court needs to, and let's see. Former Bengaluru FC winger Edgar Mendes signed for PT Prachuap FC in the Thai top division. Yet now as a player moved to Thailand due to uncertainty. Yeah, but Punjab. I'm waiting for others to leave, right? Brambilla, we saw the other day. Others they're going to move. At this rate, there won't be any players left. Yeah, Punjab is a likelihood, no? If Praful next president of AIFF, no, Shovik. I don't think Praful Patel is even looking to come back. I don't see that. Is there even any hype of Durand Cup? In Kolkata, there is. So let's see. From my understanding, we have more resources than Oman. Is it right there? But they are a proper side, tier 2 side, whereas we are tier 4. Yeah, I agree with you, Brendan. And I'm going to make a caller, but I feel someone in the Supreme Court is sold out against Reliance. Okay, yeah. Hey, Yuvraj, good to see you back. Vinay is busy fighting with AIFF. Nitu is busy fighting with REF when they were needed. Mohun Bagan, Super Giant, East Bengal FC betrayed Indian football for their own security. Blue, a good observation. The problem is, at the moment, in my opinion, looking at the whole scenario, is that what I always say or like to say here on this channel, that East Bengal and Mohun Bagan as clubs should be at the forefront of what happens in Indian football. They should be the biggest entities. right? They should be standing up for Indian football, for all of us. And they're missing in action, right? If I see a statement of Ravi Pushkar today, right, that is a statement which I would have expected, right, from all 13 ISL clubs. And I would have also said, you know what, some of the I-League teams should have supported as well, you know. So City Football Group has stake in Mumbai City. Aren't they afraid of the league getting shut? No, they aren't. Someone has to put more pressure on AIFF finding a solution. But AIFF is not the problem. It's in the Supreme Court. The AIFF is not the problem, Showcast. The Supreme Court has said the MRA can't be negotiated and discussed. They put a stop. Reliance have a contract till the 8th of December. You can't start a league and hope that, things get sorted out so that there's a new contract. Or do you stop on the 8th of December, say, hey, sorry guys, you know what? We didn't extend the contract. The league ends today. Doesn't happen. Doesn't work that way. What did Bajaj did? I don't know. Goku, Kerala Blasters put out, as part of their new podcast series, an interview with Ranjit Bajaj and then had to take it off in a few minutes because the club's fans rightly went berserk about it. I mean, the club put a case against the guy and then you feature him. It's a level of stupidity. Prayers for tomorrow, sir, for the Supreme Court. Yuvraj, again, I don't have any hope at the moment. I'm honest, as I say. And we just have to wait and see what happens, right? We, let's pray and let's hope, but nothing more, nothing less. So that's the max we can do at this moment. Yeah, Roshan, you know what I mean with that, right? This whole yoga thing is I don't know. Do you see anyone in your community doing that? I don't see anyone in my community doing that, to be very, very honest. As much as I hate ISL, I know that's the only major league we have. Might as well support it, but now it feels like nothing in our hands now. The situation keeps getting worse. Clubs shutting down. Yeah, sure does. But the problem is, again, if you hate ISL, then you haven't seen the writing on the wall for a while, because the reality is that we need to find a way. So therefore, for me, we are in a very, 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 very tricky situation. Right, 40 minutes of this live. Sorry that I had to jump off a little earlier. Quick reminder, please like, share, subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias as well. And again, like this live. Again, the more you hype my content. Thanks, guys, for hyping stuff. 12 likes only. I think we can do better. We're still at 2,837. Again, interesting what I've seen in the last 2 weeks now. It yo-yos. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So do support. Let's keep on growing and let's keep on fighting for the best of Indian football, right? Right now, I'm totally hopeless knowing the legal representatives of my lords in the court. I may be terribly proven wrong. Yuvraj, we would all to be proven wrong, right? And but we can't say, right? You don't know, I don't, nobody knows, right? And let's hope. Again, we've got, as you say, we're in a hopeless situation, but let's hope against hope. Hi, Surya. Guys, how are you? Doing good overall. But when we think about Indian football, I think we're not doing good. You're good at identifying the people who contribute to Indian football and destroy it, but people are naive and ignorant, use them against people who have done good. Yeah, Murali, thanks. Experience. Shovik, I already said, Mr. Patel, I don't see him coming back to the AIFF in any capacity. Depending on what happens tomorrow, can the clubs go to FIFA FC? Of course. Uchud, I have told a few people at club level, I've even written it, I think, that, they should have reached out to FIFA and AFC. And I think the ISL should have reached out as well. There's a relationship that Mr. Infantino has with the Ambanis. That card was not played. But the danger is, of course, if that card had been played, Who knows? Maybe, there could have been a FIFA ban. But I don't know. If I look at things, if I look at what the situation around it, the AIFF is, I think the ban is the best thing. I don't think elections will solve it, to be very honest. The new AIFF, a lot of people will still be around because there are certain criteria that you have to have, right? And we need a reboot. Why do you think certain sports cannot get commercial success like cricket or lack of interest? People mindset despite success. Okay, Murali, there are different reasons, right? I don't know. I can't tell you why some sports are successful, some aren't. Cricket is a different thing. Again, hockey, you mentioned. Again, some people say, oh, you know what? I now follow Neeraj. I follow chess was mentioned today. Again, commercial success is something different. All other sports outside of cricket have commercially failed in India as league sports, as franchise sports. That's also a summary of this current situation. And yesterday, by banning betting, so to say, or surrogates of betting, starting with the ISL and I-League, there's a lot of money which will not flow into the Indian system. SC Bangalore to cash, can we expect an AIFF hat-trick of losses? Yuvraj, I still don't know what SC Bangalore is fighting for. To be very honest, I still haven't understood it, because what are they fighting for? Are they because it's been delayed? Because the danger now is, as funny it might sound, that I don't see AIFF losing the case at CAS. They might be getting a rap on their knuckles, saying that you've delayed on the whole thing, and Delhi FC might be relegated with SC Bangalore because of that. So let's wait and see what happens. Hey, Vaman, I don't understand what happened. Kerala Blasters, saw you tweet about it. Could you explain? Vaman, they put out a podcast with Ranjit Bajaj yesterday, and this, not only me, but other people also reacted to it in not, let's put it this way, not too friendly way. What do you think court needs to step down in handling football issues? I would have said allow a governance professional, maybe an international governance professional who's an expert in football governance, invite a top sporting lawyer from abroad, and maybe get one or two legal guys from India to come together and chalk out a constitution as per the new National Sports Governance Bill and the rules and regulations of FIFA. Simple. Do that for every sport. Do that for the IOA as well. Sorted. Present it to the court, and that's done. This case has been going on for 8 years. No one can explain to me that how such a case can run for 8 years. No one in the world. Right? And again, with the utmost respect, dear Supreme Court, with the utmost respect, you have been harming the interests of Indian football. You are saying, and the cases were done in the best interest of Indian football, but they've harmed Indian football. Why? Because in 2022, a certain Kalyan Chaubey became president. India got banned on Independence Day. And I could go on and on and on. We have become an international football embarrassment. And now it's about livelihoods. It's about the future of a lot of people. But hey, there are people fighting to end this league for self-interest. And you're supporting it. Right? So, I don't know. Will FIFA involve if officially 25-26 season of ISL is cancelled? Tom, there needs to be a message sent from FIFA or from Reliance to go to it. They will not step in themselves out of the blue. FIFA knows what's happening 100%. So, do you think new constitution will change from bottom of the pyramid in your football system? No. It doesn't address the key issues. To me, one of the biggest blunders being done in this whole National Sports Governance Act, in this whole AIFF constitution, is the representation of athletes. The way Khalid Jamil was chosen, right? Look at how Kalyan Chaubey is running it. Look at how PT Usha is running it. Sorry, I need pros to run it. Sports management people. There are good apples, there are bad apples, no doubt about it. But they at least know, right? Kushal Das was a sports and finance pro. He managed it. Sunanda Dhar was a sports management professional. He managed it. Right? People need to understand. I don't know. Heard that AIFF has requested Kashi that you keep a new trophy, both the clubs keep. Yuvraj, the problem is that is the AIFF going to go to Varka, under, I don't know, police security and try to pick up the I-League trophy from the home of the Alamos? I don't know if that's going to work. You might find this funny, but, whoever's going to go there, they'll most probably get that person arrested by the Goa police if you're going to go there. And this is another chapter of this embarrassment of this whole thing of the AIFF, that you've managed the thing so badly. Honestly, it's I don't know where we stand with this. It's so hard, and I don't know. I honestly don't know where we're heading, because this thing is, the I-League clubs are also now slowly realizing that they are part of this whole khichdi as well, because hey, where's the conversation about when the I-League is going to happen, right? Didn't the president say that he will sort out the Super Cup in 7 to 10 days? So where's that conversation gone, right? Again, what I said yesterday, don't know where it's going. ISL, IWL, I-League, both national football team, FSDL, Lele, or youth team competition, AIFF. Yeah, but Ashish, I get from where you're coming from. It's a good idea, theoretically, in saying that let FSDL manage the whole thing. But FSDL only wants to do ISL. The FSL doesn't even want to do I-League, which I have already suggested a few times over the last 2 years, and even did videos, that FSDL should at least adopt the I-League, work on the I-League, and then maybe in future, I don't know, maybe even I-League 2, I-League 3, and then, the pro leagues under there, maybe even get the IWL. Yeah, would make sense, but that's not going to happen. Nice idea, Ashish, but I doubt it's going to happen. One thing, if Federation up with info whenever a new leader this will not change over this. Murali, in general, we think these days, when we remove XYZ from positions, like we removed Prabhu Patel, and the majority said, "Oh, great," and you were listening to what Shaji Kalyan was saying. I take out that one quote with that 500 crores is the money that we should. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if the Indian football AIFF gets 500 crores, of course you could do more than with your 120 crores that you run. How? Sure. But how are you going to raise the money? Where are you going to get it from? Who's going to give it to you? Right? And we got rid of Steven. We said, oh, we don't like his style of football, without understanding what our players can actually factually play. So therefore, I'm just telling you 2 examples of us getting rid of people where I think afterwards the majority realized, oops, they weren't as bad, right? I always say, and I've said this multiple times, Kushal Das and Sunanda Dhar knew what they were doing, and they built on small things, and let's see. But sir, AIFF is best, kick FSL, let AIFF do the magic. Yeah, Yuvraj, if they're thinking of that way, right? I mean, and that's to me the crazy part. Just to think that shows you that that you live in La La Land. You're Delulu, right? I mean, you have a psychological problem because you don't realize the importance. And the point is, you should actually work together with Reliance and try and figure out how you can improve things rather than destroying things. Sorry. Yeah. So those are the realities, right? How are you, sir? Please tell in Hindi 2-line. Ashish, kaise mein hu, right? So, as I always say, मेरा हिंदी अच्छा नहीं है, ठीक ठाक, I would say. Given Indian football का situation जो है ना, इतना अच्छा मैं नहीं हूँ because I want Indian football to survive and grow. You know? So let's see. AIFF दिल में आता है, समझ में नहीं. Yeah, you can say that. I can say Praful Patel ran the federation better than current scenario. Absolute joke. They're fighting for power rather than development. Yeah. And again, to keep the system running in an Indian football system, these people have not gotten the credit that they somewhat kept Indian football alive during COVID. Reliance organized one of the best bubble leagues in the world in the ISL. I saw what the AIFF did as a bubble league for the I-League. I was part of it even in the second year for a few weeks towards the end. Brilliant. They never got a credit for it. Internationally, we've spoken about it. Within India, no one's spoken about it. So those are realities. Those are realities, Murali, and you're right. If ISL happens, ask that ISL club forming unholy alliance to adopt and play an I-League to fulfill their dreams of running a league. Charity starts from home. Yuvraj, I think that unholy alliance I was able to kill with my tweet. So no more worries on that front. I think you should slowly start getting worried as Inter Kashi that the AIFF still has not put a letter to Reliance saying that Inter Kashi is the promoted club, right? I think that is something that you guys should, as Inter Kashi fans, should start asking the question to the AIFF every day. When are you sending the letter to Reliance that Inter Kashi are the champions of the I-League and like Roundglass Punjab and Mohammedan Sporting have the right to get promoted? Why didn't get less money for sports in allocation? Google, because sports is not a priority. Whatever the government says, the government wants to do. In India, the government, and again, as I say, it doesn't matter which political party, they do show events more. No? They rather would do a World Cup, FIFA World Cup, a Cricket World Cup, I don't know, Hockey World Cup, than actually do the groundwork. That's why I always said I gave a lot of credit to Naveen Patnaik and what they did in Odisha. Said today, the Pride of Bengal quota is in news. Did this thing happen during PP era? Yuvraj, it is possible that XYZ would have said, take this player, take that player to the coach. Even I have had conversation with coaches that you should be taking this player, that player. That's right. But I don't think, at least with the foreigners, I can say that I know over the last 25 years, I don't see that Stephen, Bob, Wim, Igor, or Manolo would have been influenced by that, right? They will choose their team. And now, listen, we've got a player from the army in the squad who's 32. I mean, if that's the future of Indian football, then I didn't, I jokingly said that, but then I think it's time to call up Baichung, right? Or a Henry, or I don't know, Stephen Dias, Clifford Miranda, those guys still look fit, right? Do you think major problem with Indian sports, especially people who run the federation, especially politically connected people, the interest is not to work for, but rather power required maintain? Murali, there are two sides of this story, right? You need someone with political clout, with political connections, with corporate connections at the top. That's how India operates and runs. So that's one reality. Those criteria were fulfilled by Mr. Dasmunshi and by Praful Patel. Kalyan Chaube, you know, fulfills the political connect, but not to the top level. Business connect, I don't see. And he connects the other dot, which was a ex-athlete. But otherwise, it doesn't work. So therefore, yeah, we need someone, either a politician with interest in football or a business person with interest in football, but also with those political connections. Otherwise, you cannot run it. Do you think these from AIFF capable to run a league, they don't all mess and saying AIFF should? No, Goku, they can't. The AIFF at the moment cannot tell the I-League clubs when is the I-League going to happen. Right? We're in that situation. Reiterating, any other entity would have moved out by now, and who knows, they might be actually waiting for the contract to run out in December. Very important point, Uchut. You know, I give Reliance a credit, a huge credit, that they're still around. They could have, maybe should have walked in the summer, right? They should have said, you know what, you don't want us, you know. So, yeah. Sir, a genuine question, who was this unholy? Why was this unholy being considered? Is there an increased sales of? No, it had, Yuvraj, it was looking at something maybe that could have. It has nothing to do with academy and products. It creates something, and again, it's. I helped it die its natural death, most probably faster than it might have. But there are people who are talking with each other, which on one side is good, but there are certain people who you shouldn't be talking to because they're not interested in the right things. Some people are doing the mistake that they're reaching out to people who are part of the problem rather than the solution. And some people sell themselves as being part of the solution, but are part of the problem. So you need to be smart enough to differ. And this is one thing which I'm still amazed by a lot of people, even at a top corporate level, that they can't distinguish who's actually genuine and honest and who's actually a waste of time. Right? So that's it. If Intercash are not considered promoted, is AIFF still sticking to Roshan? I don't know what they're sticking to. The letter is not gone out from, you know, AIFF normally puts out a letter and a post saying, you know, these are the champions and this club has gone out. Hasn't happened, right? So we're waiting. Oh, now the Indian football has become synonymous to frustration. Mono, good to see you back. Mono, it is very, very, yeah, very sad. At this moment in time, the situation we find ourselves in as Indian football fans is very, very sad. And what I find even more sad at this moment in time, if you ask me, is this whole, you know, conversation about, you know, why are we even discussing that, what needs to be done? All Indian football fans, all people who want to do good for, or no, want to not do what, want good for Indian football, all of them need to actually come together and fight for Indian football. Not happening. Huge problem, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Sir, at the moment, let's say Supreme Court says new AIFF constitution and kick out current regime and let ISL happen. It will solve our issue of AIFF letter to AIFF. This jealous, corrupt regime will go. No, it won't, Yuvraj. See, that's your problem now. The whole thing is, even if the letter is done, the point is, all of this, what you're saying, right, is, you know, it's not happening in the time frame, right? So therefore, for me, it's, yeah. Let's see. And my second thing is, if you think that for sure the right people will come in to run the AIFF after this, let's see. Hope with this verdict, whole system will change from bottom to top. In long run, we get success. Rather, you're having too much of hope. Following Indian football since childhood days, at least 30 years, never been so disappointed. More, again, it is incredible to see what has been happening, how it's been happening, and it's I mean, you know, I know, we know, you know, how things can be, have been. If you've followed Indian football over the last 30 years, you know where we've come from. We've come a long way. We've come a long, long way in Indian football. But at the moment, it is in such a bad shape, you know. Yeah, that's the reality. If you give AIFF Usain Bolt, they will ensure that he stops running, and we expect these people to make a league run. Nice one, Yuvraj. Ochut says, I-League, AIFF has to delete all communication regarding previous champions and then hand over a new trophy to Inter Kashi FC, assuming AIFF can't get back the trophy. That's a very important point. You know? Yeah, but they have to do it. Saw your Instagram story where this Zoolander YouTuber who covers global football covered the Xavi story. Roshan, it popped up on mine, and I had a few friends of mine sending it over, and then I said, "Oh God, not again!" I thought the Xavi story died a few weeks ago, and then it suddenly crops up again, and yeah, let's see. So yeah. Also, sir, what I found very random was AIFF statement about Shubhashish Bose. I mean, it was sudden, and AIFF trying to not take anything in the hands. No, it was not random. Woman, it started when the AIFF put out the players list of, these 13 players were not being released by the clubs. Mohun Bagan said something. Again, this has been a social media fight between Mohun Bagan and the AIFF. So it's not random, right? Kalyan boasted that after he came, government funds went up and fund is just 8 crore. Blue, it is 8 crore and they didn't even utilize the whole 8 crores, right? It was 30, 40 crores under Praful Patel at some stage. Can we see live broadcast of Supreme Court decision tomorrow, Goku? Yeah, you have to check. There is live streaming of Supreme Court, but I don't know where it is to be found, to be honest. But again, you are expecting a decision. There is a 1 hour hearing tomorrow. I don't know if a decision is coming tomorrow. How far India does for a player play bigger league compared to Hamza Chaudhary? Morali, there are a few of them, no? Yeah, there are a few of them. Just take, I don't know, Manpreet Sakaria playing in Austria in the Austrian Bundesliga, for example. Yeah, they are right. If Jan Danda playing in the Scottish Premiership as well. So yes. SC Bengaluru took AIFF to court. Yes, to CAS, do as you say, and let's see. I'm not sure if they're going to win this one, but again, there are procedural mistakes that the AIFF has done, so let's see what happens. The problem with Indian sports, especially federation issue, is that they fight for good cause for the sports country in Europe and Western Federation rather than power hungry. Yeah, morally, I wouldn't say that they're not power hungry, but again, the structure is there, right? There is something to be done. The federations here are not perfect, but the sports runs, right? There is a proper league system. There are clubs who are willing to invest into grassroots youth, whatever is needed. And that doesn't happen in any context. And that's the problem. That's where we're failing, right? We are not doing what is needed of us as a country to grow sports to the level that we need for Indian football to grow exponentially, right? For us, that's my biggest, worrying point at the moment, that we are not doing what is needed, so therefore, let's see. 1 hour 6 minutes. Once more, reminder. Those of you who are liking this, 14 likes only. Guys, we can do better. At 31 likes, 41 likes in the last couple of lives. I think we can do better. Guys, I need your support, as I always say, to grow this community. As I say, it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. I need your support to grow this community, reach out to more people, like videos, share videos, comment on videos. Without you guys, so therefore, yeah, that's the case. Well, sir, honestly tired of this. From Kashi to FSTL, only a sleep will be an escape. Good night, sir. Take care. Not exactly in position to laugh, but Mr. Mohammed, Goa Chief Minister claiming as champion is a bit fun. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Ochut is suddenly reminded of the Bengal District League. Is that happening? Bengal State League, please. Ochut, call it what it is, no? Bengal State League. I've seen some stuff that they've been promoting the things. No, I've seen some SSN footage where they've been going a lot to Tripura and promote football, which is good on one side, but I don't know how far they're going with that. But let's hope. Let's see what happens. Some Mohun Bagan fans, in bracket management fans, were saying you can't go to CAS without appeal committee giving verdict. It's quite too late, so it's happened. Blue, I said that at the time, and that you can, right? And Mohun and Supergiant have missed the bus on the Anwar Ali case. I don't even know if Anwar Ali case will ever be solved or not, or no, so it will be solved by the time Anwar is retired. Yeah, it's sadly is the way it is, right? At the moment, it's the way it is, and Mohun Bagan Supergiant didn't do what they could have, would have, should have do, and therefore we are where we are, and yeah, let's wait and see. But again, Mohun Bagan Supergiant, I think the management generally is getting a lot of stick after the Derby loss as well, and lack of signings in regard to AFC Champions League 2. Let's wait and see. Tomorrow, you 17 women play against Bangladesh. Yeah, Roshan, I think that's the real test. 7-0 against Nepal looks good, but the real test is Bangladesh, and let's see what our under-17 girls do. Joachim Alexanderson is someone who's been doing well. If you look at the under-20s, they qualified, so I've trusted him in his coaching abilities. Let's see what the girls can play tomorrow. When I look at international arena, why Europe and USA China dominate sports was the part of culture and the livelihood. It is part of culture, not the livelihood. A lot of professional, so-called professional athletes in Olympic sports are not actually professionals. They are part-timers. They have a job, or maybe study, and then they play sports. So again, this whole professionalism thing, I also don't buy. What topics will be spoken about tomorrow in the Supreme Court? I'm not sure if any decisions are made. I don't see any decisions being made. I mean, even though there is an outside chance that some people are telling me that there might be an opportunity tomorrow to say that there might be a constitution presented. Again, I would be shocked, but again, anything is possible. I mean, this is India, right? So, we will have to wait and see what happens. And Rahul Mehra is the first person who's going to speak tomorrow, so he's going to surely try and run down the clock. I think they've given it 1 hour. I don't know if they're going to do just 1 hour or longer, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens. Do you think kids stop dreaming to play India after seeing this mess and federation issue? They say don't play football already. Resistant parents, it adds fire. No, kids want to play sport. Why would they stop playing football? What does a, I don't know, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 14-year-old understand about these problems in Indian football? The fans are not getting it. What will a kid do? If a kid who wants to play football will want to play football, because Indian kids also think, right? Renan has asked this multiple times, right? They think that kids can play like Ronaldo and Messi or Mbappe or Holland or whatever, right? The amount of things Mohun Bagan management did wrong since the Anwar case, AFC now regarding players can be documented how to not run the cup. Yeah, bro, 100%. Agree with you. I fully agree with you, and they've done multiple things, right? So for me, as I say, if with that budget, I would have spent a little less on the players, but most probably gotten better players, and would have spent some part of the money on infrastructure and youth development, right? But that's the way it is. I think a lot of Mohun Bagan fans after the East Bengal loss are waking up. You've mentioned them. They've, in my opinion, taken quite a few decisions which were wrong, which are wrong, which will be wrong, and let's see where they take this. Here's the structure, just unbelievable. I was shocked by their infra development, unbelievable. Yeah. People who justify we lack resources and money, that's why we perform poor, especially we don't get proper facilities. Nah, listen, if the issue of facilities is something which is the key factor of why things don't happen or haven't happened or didn't happen, then large parts of the world would not see successes, right? Our infrastructure to some extent is better than in a lot of countries around the world. It is our biggest problem is the quality of coaching across sports, right? And that is something which we need to address. Ochut says, Murali, we know Stanford University, sorry. Ochut says as answer to Murali, we know Stanford University for its academic record, but they have produced numerous Olympians, including medalists. Ochut, they have even other big universities, UCLA and others. So yeah, it's part of the culture. How far fans from outside India has better IQ? All of them, there are fans who understand things better. There are a lot of fans outside of India who, also dream about things regarding their clubs or their entities, and which is not true. So therefore, you have this and that. Would I say that a normal German football fan is better informed than an Indian football fan? No, because there's a lot of blind support in football. Finally, they got away with an Indian or possible in AFC, obviously. Yeah, bro, that's the point, right? And I'm fearful, especially regarding Mohun Bagan, the way they address these things. If you're losing to East Bengal, how is Mohun Bagan supposed to stand against Sepahan? Just asking as a well-wisher at continental level. Hannibal answering Uchud says Ivy League universities take in star athletes, they don't produce them. Yeah, could be seen differently. I think that there are athletes, again, yes, you have the system of scholarships, but also there are players who are of a decent level, so who move to the next level. 11 clubs submitted letter, but Ismail Mohammed still not coming together with ISL so-called legacy clubs. Yeah. Raj, the bigger problem for East Bengal and Mohun Bagan has been that, that the club officials have been fighting each other, so to say, via media regarding, what is this, what is that. It's just, again, they think that they are bigger, they are more important, that they have a future, whatever happens to the rest, so to me, it's a problem. Being an elite sports person is an insane thing in your application to Ivy Leagues. Yeah. I overheard a US colleague talking about her elder son going to college, and she spoke me about the American football team the university has and stadium, how the social life of the city revolves around that university. Yeah, it's it is part of the social fabric and the culture of that country, and that makes a difference between a United States and an India, or even Europe. Right? In Europe, it's different. In Europe, it's organized and run via clubs. In America, is via the system of schools and universities. People who used to talk about structure, facilities, and sports science look at athletes from Africa, especially in Jamaica, pure passion. Yeah, but you mentioned earlier Africa, and then you jump to the Caribbean. Forget Jamaica, smaller islands. I've worked myself in St. Kitts and Barbados. They produce Olympic medal winners, right? मुंबई में रहना है तो मराठी बोलना पड़ेगा जय मास्टर आदित्य. This is not a platform of regional languages, speak your mother tongue, but again, 2,000 crores revenue generated in last 11 years, but where did that money go? Inflated salaries. It went to inflated salaries. It went also a little bit into infrastructure, right? It went into running the system also. I think running an ISL team is not a cheap entity. So, but mostly, as around the world, most of the money went to the salaries. The youth athletes also have to attend classes. It's not a mere sports quota that you can keep playing and skip classes. And this is the difference between those, those railway. On old days, you had the bank quotas, right, where you had footballers. I know from a lot of footballers who used to do that. And the same thing we have here in Germany is like with the army, right? A lot of these winter sports athletes. So let's see. Again, same question: will ISL happen? No one can answer you that. I cannot, and nobody else in the whole world can answer that question. Right? Last season's ISL final, Mohammad Supergiant was FC Goa. Could have been the last ISL game. That is at this moment, as I speak with you all, is a reality. Right? If I like it or not. And I would like it to happen, but if I see the scenarios at this moment in time, I would think I can't tell you anything. That's the problem, right? Do you think China catch with USA in early 2000 Olympics? They have so much close call. Well, they systematically did their things, right? And they've been successful with that. So, but team sports, yeah. By the way, India banned online gaming with money and no discussion, bulldozed in parliament. What a joke now. Who will fund the sports teams? Blue, it's a disaster, no? Dream 11 and all those platforms, khatam, boom, in one go. And the problem is, yes, gambling can be a problem. I've seen a lot of people talk about it and this and that and everything. But to me, the question is how you're going to do, and I just wanted to go to Dream 11. Their server is actually down. Right? When you ask me, I actually didn't check after whatever happened yesterday. And it is, so therefore for me, ISL, I-League, AIFF, Pro Kabaddi, all the other sports, there's quite substantial hundreds of crores out of the market in regard to sports sponsorships, and nobody is actually factually talking about it. That's insane, right? I think that rather than doing it the way they've done it, I think they should have legalized it to some extent and worked around it, yeah. As a Bengali or as an Indian, who do you support? Diamond Harbour FC, Northeastern FC? Jyotima, I said this multiple times in the last few weeks. I don't care about the Durand Cup this year. We have bigger problems. Who cares about, anyone who cares at this moment in time with what is happening tomorrow in the courts is caring about the Durand Cup, has not realized the gravity of the situation in football, is it? Let the better team win. I would wish for Senor Benali or for my good old friend Manda Tamane and others, John, and all the players, that they win it. But I also know Kivu Vicuña a little bit. I know some of the players at Diamond Harbour, and again, it's been a dream run for them. But it's not a priority on my thought process given what is going to happen tomorrow. UK has good league in football. They have Wimbledon, cricket, the whole sports combined. Yeah, I'm right. But again, you speak about the things that you hear about, right? You talk about cricket. Cricket is not an important sport in England. You should, if you want to speak about important sports, you should be speaking about rugby league, right? But what about the people who wants to gamble? I know many who used to play it for fun. See, Blue, there are two sides. Those who play it for fun, TK, gone. They're not going to bother. The people who want to gamble will go now into the illegal world, right? And why don't you legalize betting to a certain extent to generate money, which you could then put into sport? Why are you not smart? I don't understand that. So that's the reality, no? So for me, there are things that have happened that are happening, which totally make, in my opinion, at least, don't make sense. But yeah, welcome to the world in 2025, right? Is betting is very thing in Europe because we had so much in horse races. What about football? Morally, betting is possible in any kind of sport you want in Europe. So yeah, it is legal, right? We even have the lottery. We've got other things. All the things that the Indian government has restricted or stopped exist in this part of the world. Fans turned in more numbers this time because they think this can be last ever. Yeah, Raj, I've seen, even some people on Twitter yesterday saying, what, this could be the last derby and all that kind of stuff in regard to, or this was the last match in the Indian Super League. It's just to think about it is crazy, right? If you just think about it, that and these realities and, I don't know, it's very, very difficult. And, Let's wait and see. So therefore, and it's a very, very sad. Is sports betting banned under new Lok Sabha law? One bet, Dafa bet, a sponsored team like Mobile. They're gone. One bet, Dafa bet, I don't know what is Wolf 777, whatever all the names was. Parimatch News, I think Parimatch was one of them. The ISL clubs have been struggling. The only companies since COVID who really put in money into Indian club football have been betting companies, right? So that's gone. But majority people are happy regarding betting apps, man. Raj, they can be happy. But again, as I say, to me, the criteria is not if the majority is happy about things. The question is what is right, what is wrong. In my opinion, again, I come from a European thought process. Bans don't work. It's like making liquor illegal. All these things, if you tomorrow say, cigarettes are illegal, it won't work. All of this drifts into an illegal space. So you have to have control. And on the betting thing, the Indian government needs to think about it. And not only this, the other governments also in the past, to me is, guys, you can generate thousands of crores. You can fund your sports through that. This is what you're losing out. This goes into illegality and whatever channels, and people are going to do it. So you're not going to stop it. Feature football is not good in India. Now can proudly say previously body was much better than current body. 100% with him. They were much, much better, and therefore, yeah, we're in reality. Or just fancy sport and games of chances. That's right, Banjob. What do you expect from Babus who think they are God because they have cleared UPSC? Babudam has destroyed India. Yeah, we can't say anything on that, Hannibal, but only says as a person who has Indian roots, sometimes you felt sad for India sports, especially when we won Olympics. You won single digit. Wherever you meet any foreign playing arena, they ask how come. It's embarrassing. It's not sad. It's embarrassing, right? This country of the size of India, where you think, hey, listen, if we've won 2 gold medals, we're like, wow, we're over the moon. We are winning, and that is. It's brutal, right? I feel it's very, very brutal, and we're not going in the right direction. So for me, it's we need to work on those things, and therefore very, very difficult. Some guys are even celebrating ISL will be gone, uncles with nostalgic dreaming. Yeah, Blue, that is one. The other one that I always say is, what I've seen, what I've heard is people. What I speak about Maidan, Maidan folklore, right? To me, I always say, for example, I love to be going to the Calcutta Maidans. Friend of mine last time around took me to the race course, right? Lovely experience, great atmosphere, calm, quiet. You're sitting on the Maidans and you don't feel you're in Kolkata because, you're there. And I'll have to go to the press club, discuss things with people, go to East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, Mohammedan, watch football games, or go to CCFC and interact with friends and stuff. So yeah, that Bengal club and whatever other club. But the point is, we're in 2025, and we look too often to the past and not into the future, and that is, I think, hampering India, and that is football as well. So Stake also a big sponsor. Yes, they're gone. Woman, all companies, Dafa, Parimatch, Stake, Wolf, 777, 1X, whatever the companies, all of them, whoever they're there. Bihar is a dry state. They buy through illegal routes from UP, West Bengal. UP and West Bengal generate crores of money through this, and it's the biggest income of the state governments. Bans never work. Yeah, Blue, you've seen that. Yeah. So that's something. Bengal is being blamed for all the chaos happening in football because clubs, players, politicians in football are majority from Bengal. Now, this is something which, at least when you talk in professional levels, you don't hear. So therefore, for me, yeah, it could be. I think generally in India, as we realize there's a lot of this thing about, hey, where are you from, what language you speak, and all that kind of stuff. It's a problem at the moment. But to me, very, very clearly, I don't know. I don't think that this is a problem. The chaos, again, yes, Kalyan is the key reason why we're having this chaos, but this chaos is produced by all the people involved, right? And they're from all over India. So, hey, Akash, welcome back. Out of topic question by your looks, people thought you're Indian after you say I'm from Germany. It's a different racism experience because in football it's very common nowadays. Murali, I say, yeah, I'm German, yeah. People then ask, what are your roots sometimes, or sometimes they don't ask. But I know that when I say I'm German, they do treat you differently. That's, in today's world, that's a fact, right? And they treat you with more respect. If I would say I'm an Indian, hockey is the only promised sports over the years we are successful or didn't get commercial sales. Your thoughts on Indian hockey legacy? Murali, legacy is nice to have. Success is also nice to have, but hockey is not a big sport. Hockey is sadly a niche sport. Be it, I mean, we just had the finals of the European Championships in Mönchengladbach. Germany beat in the men's and the women's the Netherlands. It's a short piece of info, right? So it's not a big sport, sadly. Yes, India is very successful. That's the success in hockey actually is, I rate higher than the success in cricket, because there are many more countries who play hockey than cricket. But the world doesn't care, right? That's the reality. Field hockey is even a smaller sport than you would say ice hockey. And in ice hockey, for example, it's not even played in most parts of the world. But what? It is played in Canada, it is played in the US, it's played in Europe. It's actually massive in Scandinavia, it's massive in Russia. Yeah. Dream 11, my 11th circle, big sponsors and Apple, huge money. Raj, it is an Indian sporting disaster, and therefore for me, it's interesting to see that even the cricket lobby wasn't able to work on things and convince the government to not come with this. And in a way, I mean, this has been pending for quite some time, but let's wait and see. Guys need to understand field hockey is a tiny sport in terms of global share. Ice hockey is way bigger than field hockey. Yeah, Akash, exactly. That's a big problem, and I think a lot of people do not understand that. Right? It is here in Europe. Yeah. Who will win Durand Cup? Nadeem, I've said this multiple times today. Who cares? We have bigger things to worry about. The future of Indian football. Who cares who's going to win the Durand Cup? Maybe, yeah. Sunday is the last match of the season, so be prepared for that, right? Saturday will be the last match. What are the sports, according to you, even the one we don't care about? See, again, there are different sports around the world where there are different priorities. If you ask me, for example, basketball is big. I would say handball is big over here. Some will say volleyball. Some will say other sports. Now, Diamond Harbour's SC win is being declared by Team C party win because it's backed by Abhishek Banerjee. Raj, I told someone this afternoon that yes, Diamond Harbour Football Club is backed by Abhishek and other people, but one has to give them credit, that, because they did a lot of things right. Again, it's one thing to have money, and the other thing is to do it right. And yeah, Kibu Vicuña calmly, quietly has done his work. Good player signings every year. So let's see how far they can go. Right? If it banned, people would stay players. Illegally banned does not work. Yeah, that's it, Banjab. So, decision next week? No, I don't think there is a decision coming in terms soon. Why did Kerala Blasters delete the interview with Minerva director? Nothing. Just think. Why do you think that was deleted? I mean, Kerala Blasters fought with this gentleman. This gentleman is trying to kill the league that Kerala Blasters are part of. So it doesn't make sense. So, and the backlash, yeah, they deserve the backlash. It's on them. And again, there is no accountability, there is no introspection, and that's a problem, in my opinion. Those are the biggest problems that we're facing in Indian football, right? So, yeah, that's where we are at this moment in time. Shameful India lose to Afghanistan again. I don't think so. Yeah, and it can happen. This is the reality of today. Who cares is now a very popular word in Kerala last 2 days in politics. Okay, slim chance that is transferring to qualify. I don't know. Has anyone heard anything? Who is part of the camp? How are the preparations going? I've heard nothing. No. The people who normally talk about football are not talking about football. That's the problem at the moment. Now finding sponsors are going to be a huge trouble now listen, Angry Birds, it's a huge problem for the ISL, for the ISL clubs, for the I-League clubs, for the AIFF, and all other sports, even in cricket. I mean, when it was mentioned, I actually checked, Dream 11, their website is offline completely. I thought that their website might be online in other parts of the world. Today, Negi said some official asked Manolo, why aren't you playing balls? He's Bengal's pride, etc. Why aren't you playing Vishal set up your same over SG quota? Your thoughts? Blue, there will be officials, and I've heard officials tell coaches, why is this player not playing? Why is that player not playing? Or why haven't you called up this player? And you can say that. But as long as the coach is deciding on it, where is the problem? We create issues out of issues which aren't even supposed to be talked about. This is the most normal thing. Don't you think the people in the English FA ask, I don't know, Gareth Southgate or now Thomas Tuchel, why is XYZ not in the squad? Or in Germany, they don't. Of course they do. These are non-starter of a discussion, and people love this. And this is time waste, guys. We have bigger things to discuss and worry about. Tomorrow, Supreme Court hearing. Yeah, Raj, let's see what happens tomorrow. When you look, India image in sports is bad. We're good only produce CEO and electric people in big corporate universities. It's really sad to see that our preseason is 100 times better managed and handled than our domestic cup, Super Cup. Is it really good managed? Just asking, right? The scheduling is a disaster, right? Clubs have been forced to play, so I don't know. Nothing to talk about in football right now. No, we have to talk about what the situation is, So that's what we need to talk about. Good evening, Simon. So we're headed for another delay in the hearing, or would come. I think there's going to be another delay, So let's see what happens. Can cricket gain recognition in Germany after its inclusion in Olympics? No, Vishal, nobody bothers. It's a non-starter of a sport. I've had interview big celebrity on the part of the world doesn't have VIP culture like India. Murali, I said this. I don't bother if you're a big name or a small name. You could be the biggest. If you think when I joined the Deutsche Welle and I was doing an internship, my first interview was Franz Beckenbauer. I jokingly said to friends after that interview, it's now time to retire. I've interviewed Franz Beckenbauer. Who in football, who will be bigger than Franz Beckenbauer to interview, in my opinion? 20 years ago, right? So here, no, not a problem. So Supreme Court decision coming December 7th, earliest December 9th. Political influence ownership is common in football throughout the world, and ever supported teams neither voted, but Abhishek Diamond obviously is very well managed as the first non-Kolkata club. Yeah, Akash, and that's the reality. If that's the case, why did they do the interview in the first place? Nadeem, that's a question to ask them. My understanding would be, from the outside, that they wanted, I guess, the views and wanted something controversial because that's what gets you views in India, and it's a sheer stupidity in my opinion. Sorry to call it out what it is. Hey Shan, welcome back. Other clubs need to follow how to manage a club from downwards management. Could, but again, there are a lot of ISL teams who are actually well managed, but the results don't show that. Indian hockey at least gives us little hope winning medal at international. Yeah, 8 days left to cry for OCIs. Okay. Adam Pereira is playing against FS1 Mainz and Europa Conference League. Yes. Interesting to see how cricket does without betting gambling apps. I think cricket will somehow survive. I think it's for the other sports, it's a bigger problem. Good evening, Dark Knight. Welcome back. As a person who's lived both parts, one thing Indian sports not updated compared to world India, describe as person I forgot to. Mali. We're not. You don't want to live, So I don't know. If you compare Durand with Super Cup, then Durand Cup is definitely way more professionally handled proper cup format. Where is it a proper cup format? Akash, it's a tournament. You've got league matches. You bloody play 4 league matches. It is held over a month. You could have finished it in 15 days. It's creating problems in the calendar. The whole bloody thing is a mess. What are you trying to sell me? You're telling me that the last Super Cup was not well organized by the AIFF in Odisha? Come on. Kennan's doing good in the League One. Kalen Vickers, and is doing good for Peterborough in the same leagues, but his team doing damn bad according to SofaScore ratings. Yeah. Mohun Bagan is harping its own image among the fans. Yeah. Was your cryptic tweet about that Minerva guy answered former folk? No, it's not. See, and again. So, what about verdict of Anwali? What is verdict? Can you believe totally propaganda said? Ninadri, what propaganda? There is no propaganda. The problem is that the case should have been done and dusted, last year? It is a failure of the AIFF. It's a failure of Mohun Supergiant to get this case through. And, So honestly speaking, I don't know how many outside this live really bother about coalitions, talk about it, the numbers very low. Yeah, Simon, it's very, very low. Non-existent. If people bothered, there would be thousands of people today in this live and talking about it, discussing. And why, there are people, I don't know if you've seen, I put it out on Twitter. I thought it was a very, very good statement from Ravi Pushkar. And, talking about what he's doing, what the clubs are doing, but nothing happened. Set to correct. I was saying nothing update or new in Indian football now. I'm there and I know that we have to actively talk about such. Okay, understood. What interview is being talked about here? Angry Birds, that Kerala Blasters yesterday for a few minutes put out an interview with Ranji Bajaj. Your league is fighting this gentleman, this gentleman is fighting your league. You have fought a legal case against him. Incredible. Why so much praise for Diamond OFC after just reaching finals? Real test will be I-League. Even Lajong said All Indian squad also gave notice and had a good challenge losing to a goalkeeper area. Nadeem, because that is a club which calmly, quietly in Kolkata has been working its way up over the last 2-3 years. So therefore, I think, forget the reaching the Durand Cup final, but the work that they've done is commendable, period. Khaled reportedly called Mohun Supergiant management, I don't know what more Vinay needs. Kalyan Chaube is saying sorry, most probably, via his wife. Have you visited Brazil? How good is their football development? No, I've not visited Brazil. Nigeria, despite not having proper structure and development, strong grassroots, is still top. Yeah, but why? All these African countries have some sort of football, and they have nothing. No? If you look at guys that tell you, I come from Senegal, I used to play with something. Why are Mohun Supergiant East Bengal people so egoistic? I think their ego is bigger problem than even their stupidity. If we would know, Blue, I think we could change something, but I honestly don't know why. Should the Durand Cup be a preseason tournament, what changes could be made? Yeah. I would cut it down to 15 days and keep it as a preseason tournament. Yeah. Nothing more, nothing less. One or two people who says we don't have sufficient resources while we perform bad big arena. You have no clue. That interview was like chicken interviewing KFC. Kerala Blasters. Roshan, I mean, we spoke about it last night. I couldn't believe it. Hope Diamond Harbour FC don't take route of Mohammed Superjan East Bengal youth development. Dark Knight, that's the question, right? Let's see. Let them build. Why is development world-class grassroots difficult in India compared to other parts of the world? Because you don't need world-class. If you have even Asian class, that would be enough, morally. World-class in an Indian context, in my opinion, is not going to happen, right? If you ask me, that will not happen. So that's the reality. Bajaj repeatedly in all his interviews says we don't have funding, no sponsorships, AIFF doesn't support us, blah, blah. Yeah, but why don't people support you? That should be the question. Huh? Diamond Harbour has 80 players registered. Yeah, maybe they'll play their own league. What was Karavas FC interview? I have no idea. Pranjal, they have interviewed Ranjit Bajaj, put it on, and then after a few minutes, and then put it off because the Kerala Blasters fans rebelled against it massively, and rightly they did, right? That's the discussion that should be had. Because the breeding of Scooter, what I'm missing? No, Sam, I don't know. My dad said he left seeing Kolkata clubs because they felt like Bengal serials, which he hated to the core. No evolution, no honesty, no accountability. Angry Birds, your father was a visionary. That's why I also said, I did a tweet today, which again, I don't know, a lot of people didn't understand the pun, I guess, when I said today, script writers of TV serials or soap operas wouldn't be able to keep up with the twists and turns within Indian football. We have too many lows, need some positives for once, and that's what I felt, right? This is a problem, right? Yeah. Again, that's a danger, but so far they're doing a lot right. He was quite disappointed on me as I started seeing Kolkata club games, right? Euro Cup, Asian Cup in 2014 also ran for 1 month, so Durand Cup outside one was not that bad. Nothing. What are you comparing? Just think what you're comparing. What are you comparing? You're comparing the Euros and you're comparing the Asian Cup with, you can throw in even the FIFA Club World Cup with the Durand Cup. It's a bloody preseason tournament. Do it in 2 weeks. Get it over with. It is harming our schedule because now teams are not releasing players. Really, I guess anyone, right? If this is the most important tournament, then forget everything else. Play it for about 12 months. Why do you don't get this into your brain, guys? This tournament has been over the last 3-4 years a problem in the scheduling. Club coaches have multiple times said that. You need to change the format of the Durand Cup. You're playing in the monsoons. You're playing for bloody 1 month. Get it over in 2 weeks and done with. It's a preseason tournament. It's not your most important tournament. Sadim Mane said, we have no resources whatsoever. When he looks Europe, they never realize how grateful they are. Yeah, it's true. Scooter is cult following, I don't know why. Because people don't question. They just follow. If someone of you says, that what people want to hear, and you sell them a dream, they will sell you. Yeah, but Nadim, it's no point of discussing. Women's football is a positive, I guess. At the moment, yes. So we are officially a joke. Sam, we've been a joke for a while. Comparing cycle with Lamborghini, yeah. That's why he's just interviewed only in World Cup games and keeps himself busy with other things far away from local football news. Yeah. By the way, sir, Marcus really said it's right. There is no dull day in Indian football so much that it drains your emotions. Blue, yeah, at the moment, yeah. Did you hear Ashish Negi video where he said on AIFF official asked national team coach why both the private workers in India? Yeah, but Panjal, what is the big story? So honestly, this thing, this question will have been asked by an official from the FA to the former England coach. A German official would have asked. So what's the big story about it? If the coach decides not to play him and doesn't get influence, what's the problem in that? Even I have talked to coaches, why is this player, why is that player not there? Or I've said, this player should be in your squad. I remember I said that to a couple of coaches. But the coaches didn't change anything. So what's the problem in all of this? We create issues or talking points on social media. Again, this is news, yes, but I've heard multiple times AIFF officials talk to coaches and say, oh, this player, that player you should take. So again, AIFF made every possible way to get it stretched longer and longer just to complete their tenures. Yeah, that's the problem of the whole case. This case has been going on for 8 years, right? I still don't know why still for 8 years, but it's been going on for years. Do you think certain time Indian player and VIP following like cult followers? Murali, I don't like it. Let them be treated like normal human beings, right? And it would be better for all of them. Scooter has cult following because his followers can't do Google search if he's a coach or not. Very right. So ISL 2014 was also affecting schedule. Ali got delayed, Constantine complained clubs releasing player last moment. Yeah, so what are you trying to say? That it was a mistake then and now it's okay to do it? What's your point? What is the point? I am again, that if a mistake was done in 2014, so you still do it in 2025. That's your logic, right? Guys, I saw into in Wembley. The stadium looks unbelievable. When look at stadium in England, Germany, it looks graphic. It is. Is it real? Yeah, it's a huge stadium. It's a massive, and it's not Wembley. It's the London Stadium. Wembley Stadium is on the other side of town. This is in Stratford. Ranjit Bajaj plays sympathy trap to his followers, which is a certain type of emotional harassment, according to me. Yeah. So, but why these clubs do not wake up earlier? Now they're suddenly doing such things. Because Raj, they believe that because of reliance, nothing will happen. I've said this. The clubs didn't realize that they needed to act. And that is why we're stuck where we're stuck at this moment in time. Right? The clubs, but the problem is that the clubs, the fans, the players, everybody else is not the club sent, I think, a very good letter to the Amicus. It should be the talking point, and that's the thing. Why are we as fans show the incident, the rifts and request controversies? Because people don't really want to vote, Yeah. Point is, did you criticize ISL in 2014? Yes, Nadeem, I did. And you don't know that, right? You don't know even 1% of what I've done for Indian football over the last 25 years, 27 years. You don't even know what I'm trying to do in the background, trying to help what is happening at the moment. You guys have an opinion. You think you know, right? The Durand Cup. Listen, the Durand Cup is a joke of a tournament. Sorry. It should have been. I've organized 2 Durand Cups myself, co-organized. So I know how they organize this thing, right? And it's not become better. So you guys have opinions about things which you cannot have an opinion on because you don't know how the things are done and organized. This is what really nowadays really makes me angry. Because everybody has an opinion on everything. And 99% should not be even talking about those things. That's the biggest problem of this world today. If you know, you know. If you don't know, please shut up. That's the biggest message I want to send out to everyone on social media. If you bloody don't know anything, just don't talk. Right? Just to be part of a conversation. It is. No. Right? Do you know what I said to the Lions? What I didn't say to the Lions in 2014? I said multiple times, what did I say? We can spend as much money as we want on marketing. As long as the product on the field long term is not good, it's not going to succeed. Sorry, I was right. Factor in the FIFA windows. We didn't do that. Right? I'm not a decision maker. I can just decide, So, what to say? I don't know. What are the areas you think Indian football fans need to have of it? Murali, they don't have a clue. It's just proven again. People think, right? That's the problem. That is the problem. Lack of awareness, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. Right? All this law. Showcast, I feared, yes. I said in 2022, in 2022, when this circus was going on, I spent my own time and money to explain to the COA. I got abused by the COA of trying to explain to them in front of a certain Mr. Bajaj, what are the implications that we would get a FIFA ban. And those gentlemen say, no, we will never, we are India, we will not get suspended by FIFA. Right? The little Ronaldo Chaudhary was right and all of them were wrong. Nobody thought that FIFA would ban us. So I know my things. Right? I always say, if you can prove I was wrong, yeah, I will say I was wrong. But sadly, most of the time, it's not working. Because people come with arguments where they say, listen, you have to have been around for the last 25 years, then we can have a discussion, because there is a long of history in all of these things. You are defending entities and people who have been part of things where these people should be ashamed of themselves of even talking about these things. Because you don't know what has happened in Indian football. Right? That's the reality. 2019, AIFF got 44 crore from government. 2025, AIFF got 8 crore and couldn't use it. Profil was in opposition at that point. Blue, under 17 World Cup opened up a lot of money for the AIFF from state and central government. But we can say whatever we want, we have no power. But AIFF should start doing it. It can be seen as abuse of power, and he is boss and not a Puya Chetri. Pranjal, but the coach decides. Right? Even the president can come forward and say, right? I want this and that player in. If the coach doesn't take it, it is his decision. Right? So what is the problem? Again, we are creating artificial problems where there are no problems because people like to say, oh, there is this Molbagan quota, or oh, this is Bengali quota. You have never been around an Indian national team, so you will not understand how the dynamics work. So again, off-topic, German court decided German clubs should participate in costs of police security when more than 1,000 police officers involved. Roshan, it's a problem, no? It's a problem. The costs have been rising. Hooliganism, ultra issues have been rising. The question is if the clubs are going to be participating in that, right? FIFA windows from September and Durand Cup is ending August, and how is it affecting scheduling? Nadeem, do I have to explain this to you now? We're not even talking about the A internationals. We're talking about under 23s. Our players do you think that playing East Bengal, Mohun Bagan in a Durand Cup or playing Diamond Harbour, Indian Army, Navy, those matches are really going to take us players forward to play in the CAFA Nations Cup? The CAFA Nations Cup is not even happening in a FIFA window. Right? This tournament is extended to that extent that it doesn't help. It doesn't help. And if you can do this tournament in 15 days with the proper scheduling, then you can say it has its value. Most of the coaches don't want to play the Durand Cup, or they play. Have you seen how many teams in the last 2-3 years have sent their under 23s or combination under 23s, under 19s? The Kolkata clubs on Northeastern are playing out of compulsion. They're not playing because they wanted to play in this. And they're playing the best players because of out of compulsion. So what are we talking about? Times have changed. It's about reels and TikTok culture, Sally. Yeah, Simon, that's a part. That is, I myself included, I'm trying to listen, Simon. That's the spirit. That's what we need. Nowadays, people watch matches from reels and make opinions. Yeah, that's also. Hi, Kohli. Welcome back. I'm doing fine. Having good or great people at the AIFF won't be enough, since there are always people around to drag AIFF people to national court because they don't care of infringement of law of sports. Roshan, the problem, as you say, and it is not just the AIFF. You need the right people around in the Indian football ecosystem. If you're not going to do that, it is not going to happen. We are not going to move forward, right? So, yeah, that's the reality. Any instance you felt whatever there were knowledge, people will not change based on belief. Yeah. I kept a channel in Mumbai with Mohammad Suraj and ISL Cup final was field. Okay, good to hear, Kohli. And I don't understand, it's using half of money IFF get. Did they eat it, or is it still there? Where didn't they use it? Pranjal most probably didn't apply for it. I don't know. They didn't take the money, right? If you've taken the money, then you can talk about corruption. No? Every coach live or die by the choice they make. Yeah. I don't know, but according to some conspiracies, Steamach had a lot of issues with the Puya. But even then, Steamach at some stage realized that he can't go past him. Listen, coaches have issues. Stephen Constantine had issues with players. In Pakistan, he didn't pick most probably two of the best players. So these things are there, right? So that's the reality. The only problem that people don't know you and your contribution. There's a complete disconnect. As fans and our knowledge level compared to you, and that level leaves you frustrated. Yeah, it leaves me frustrated, Simon, because people don't want to understand the basics, right? And that is the reality. People want to hear, transfer news, this, that, everything, East Bengal, Mohun Bagan controversy. They're not talking about the problems. This is the real reason I asked you earlier to make videos about your story in full. Yeah, but Raj, how many people will watch it? 5 people will watch it? They don't care. Right? That is the problem. What is off topic? 4 Kolkata University student got attacked by 2 Bihari shop owner with hockey stick and knives for speaking Bengali in shell, and some Bengalis are celebrating because they are Muslim. Blue, this is, I guess, this shows you where the problem is. India has massive problems and it needs to sort out. I've said that. Don't worry, that should not happen. There is no ISL at the moment, Kohli. At the moment, ISL shut. There's very little room for healthy conversations. Even Zishan, a big guy in the content creator scene, lacks the knowledge level and reports wrong information, framing the wrong opinions out of it. Yeah, Simon. You don't have to take names, but not again, how many of these guys have actually factually worked and understand these things? So let's see. Right, nearly 2 hours, guys. I'm going to come to the end of this live. Tomorrow, let's see what happens. Not sure if things are going to go the right way or not, but again, hope is the last thing. Maybe by wonders there might be a constitution coming tomorrow. Otherwise, again, as I say, we all hope for the best. It's difficult, but like and share, and support. We need to grow this community of people. I thank you for coming, but sometimes some of the questions, seriously, there's no logic to it, and I'm losing hope. My biggest fear is I'm losing my self-hope that things will work out in a way, because there are people who claim to do good for Indian football who are killing Indian football. And the majority is not standing up. They're not bothered. That needs to change, And let's see. And good night, everyone. I just take this, Raj, you're expecting the things which are not really possible. They are possible, Raj. There are still good people in the system. There are good people around. And they need to, some of them are standing up. And they need to support. I expect a lot. I expect a lot from myself. I expect a lot from Indian football. I know that Indian football will not be able to fulfill it. I know that. But at least a little. But we've gone down a path which is very, very, very dangerous. So hope, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Keep supporting. And let's see what happens tomorrow. Good night, everyone.